back to my channel. Today I am packing and I am already exhausted. We are actually fixing to head on a trip. My oldest daughter, or our oldest daughter, does competition cheer, and we're gonna be going and watching her compete. And we're gonna go to the beach while we're there. So we're excited, but I hate packing. And honestly, who doesn't? Especially for the entire family. So I thought that it would be a good fun video to show you kind of how I pack for a family of 4 and give some like tips on things we have learned over the years as far as like traveling with kids and some tricks to kind of keep them entertained in the car, because we all know most kids don't travel well and a vacation with kids can tend to be overwhelming. So I want to kind of show you some things that we have found that work for us. First, again, like I said, I'm packing. I make a list. I like to break it down day by day and then figure out what we need each day. That way I know we have everything that we need. I ran to Target earlier and I just want to show you some simple things that I buy every time we go on a trip. You would think I'd have a million of these by now, but I think either I throw them away after or I just lose them. But so whenever we're traveling, you can buy the little travel size shampoo and conditioners, but honestly, I feel like, well, today when I saw it was like $2 something for a small bottle, and we needed new shampoo conditioner anyway, so I just went ahead and bought all new sets of things that we needed. And then I bought these small travel size things that I'm just gonna fill up and label them and then put in our bag and we'll use them. I feel like this is much more cost effective. And like I said, they don't have the travel things in the stuff that we generally use, so it just makes more sense for us. And then keep them, don't throw them away. I don't know why we throw them away, or maybe the kids play with them, I'm not sure, but keep them so that next time you travel, you'll have them. And then I did get some small travel things that I'll show you. I thought this was so cute. I got a little mini lint roller. Like I said, she's doing a cheerleading competition, so having this that I can stick in my bag when we go to compete, and before she goes on the floor, I can just roll this over her uniform real quick and make sure her uniform is clean. It's gonna be super handy to have, and I think every woman should probably have one of these in their purse. And I got some dry shampoo. I thought this was cute too, and for us to have to use in case if we don't want to wash our hair every day. My youngest threw this in the cart. She had to have some Band-Aids, but then again, I thought that it was actually very smart because you never know when you're going to need a Band-Aid. And then these for your toothbrush. They're like 99 cents. And this is another thing that I think we buy every time we go travel, and I don't know why we don't have 500, but keeps your toothbrush clean. So I got several of those. And I got some contact solution, just a travel size, because I don't want to lug my big thing of contact solution with me. I'm the only one that wears contacts in the family, so I just got a little travel size of that. As I'm packing, I think I'm going to start with my beach bag first and go ahead and put the things that we need in it, like our beach towels, sunscreen, and beach toys. I like to have the beach bag already ready to go. And for the sunscreen and stuff, I just stick it all like in a Ziploc bag and then put it on the very top of the beach bag. I always apply the sunscreen to the kids before we even go out the door, because there's nothing more miserable than getting down to the beach and they want to run off and play and sand is going everywhere and you're like screaming to put on your sunscreen. I've gone ahead and picked out everything for both of my kids. I've gotten all their outfits together, extra outfits in case. We're actually going to be staying at an Airbnb, and this is our first time to do that, so I'm excited to see how that goes. But they have a washer and dryer there, which I'm so happy about, because that means I can actually wash clothes before we come home, and when I unpack I don't have to do a bunch of laundry. But I still brought a few extra outfits just in case for accidents. And I'm going to go ahead also and start getting my things together. My husband, he packs his own bags. Thank the Lord. I don't have to worry about his bags too. He's very, well, he's not picky. He just knows what he wants, and that's great. I let him do his thing. He takes care of himself, and I take care of me and everybody else. But I'm going to get back to packing. Once I get everything in the suitcase, I will show you what I have and how I have it organized. I like to start with my kids' clothes first whenever I'm packing. And again, I take my list with me and then I just go to their room and pull out what they need for the trip. And then as I'm pulling the things out, I check it off my list so that I know that I have everything I need. And I found that it's much easier that way. By the way, these little outfits that I have for my daughter were from Walmart. They are absolutely the cutest. Walmart's little clothes, I think it's like they have a table where they're $3 or $4 for their tops and bottoms, and they always try to make them interchangeable. Those are my favorite for little kid clothes because they're super cheap, and it doesn't matter if she messes them up and gets dirty, but they're cute and she really likes them and they're comfortable. So she had some really cute outfits for the trip that I was pretty excited about. Now moving on to my older daughter's clothes. I understand that as kids get older, they gain their independence and they want to pick out their clothes and they want to have their own little style. But for whatever reason, my poor daughter, she's just gotten in this habit of she wants to be comfortable all the time. And I don't quite blame her, but I have to try to teach her that it's not appropriate we wear our pajamas everywhere we go. And so I've had to check what she has chosen to pack here and make sure she had some appropriate clothes to wear like to restaurants and things, but all in all she did pretty good. So these are those little travel size bottles that I showed you at the beginning, and I'm just filling them up with the items that we normally use. I had enough that I could put my face wash, body wash, shampoo, conditioner, as well as body lotion and face lotion. So this made it much easier and definitely more cost effective. Again, the options on what they have available for like the pre-made bottles is very limited, and it's not generally the things that we use and that we like. So buying the empty bottles and then just filling them up with our items makes more sense for us, and it's just a lot cheaper that way too. So after I filled the bottles, I used a Sharpie to label them so that I knew what each thing was. And as I got almost finished, I realized that in the container that these travel size bottles came in, it actually came with sticker labels. So if you buy that, just check your package because it already probably comes with labels, but that's okay. I used a marker anyways. So now that I have all my items together, I'm starting off with my beach bag. I like to pack that first and have everything in there and ready to go for the beach. That way that bag is totally ready and can be just set aside. And then once I have that bag finished, I will start putting things in the actual suitcase. And I have a pretty large suitcase, so I try to fit my clothes as well as my children's clothes in that one suitcase. But my oldest, again, she's gaining that independence, so she likes to have her own suitcase. However, hers is still kind of small, so some of her items have to go in my suitcase as well. But it helps having a large suitcase because I have plenty of room for my things, and especially the youngest girl's things as well. 99% packed. The last things that we'll add, I'll do in the morning, and that'll be like toothbrush, phone chargers, any last minute items. I wanted to show you really quick kind of just some things that we do as far as the car ride to kind of entertain the kids. So we invested in a long time ago like portable DVD players, and we have these little, like, they're dirty, but these little lap trays that are really nice, so they can sit this on their lap and put their DVD player on it and watch movies. So I used to like let them pick out whatever movie they wanted, and we would have a big old stack of all these movies. And I've learned they don't end up watching half of them, and then they just fight over them. So now I will say each child picks 3 movies, which I only have 2 kids, so that's 6 DVDs, and they can share them, but that's plenty. Another rule I have is once you start a movie, you finish the movie. You don't have to watch it. You can play all the way through, but we're not changing those movies until that one finishes, because I'm constantly having to turn around and change out a movie, and I can't stand that. But it definitely does occupy them with the DVD players. And of course, I'm packing snacks, because you can never have too many snacks with kids. The last thing I do is I make my final list, and for that, I add anything that I will put in at the very end. Like I said, my phone chargers, any medicines or anything like that, basically anything you'll need in the morning before you leave. You want to make sure that you have that. And if you have anything in particular that you're going to need to be able to access while you're driving, you can do like a small little carry-on or just a small bag that you'll have in the car with you so that you can get to that. Also, we bring small pillows for each kid. It's kind of like the little neck pillows and blankets, because somebody's always cold and somebody's always hot, and they each get their own so they're not fighting over them. And then I will pack probably 3 to start out, because I'll have some more on the way back, but like Walmart sacks that are empty, and so we can just put trash in it as we go to keep the car from getting too cluttered and too dirty. It's going to be dirty by the end of the trip, and we're going to the beach, so it's going to have sand and everything else in it, but the least amount of clutter, the better, and then it's easier to clean whenever we get back home. I used to stress about packing, and I would literally not sleep the night before, just terrified that I forgot something. And as I've gotten older, I have realized that it really doesn't matter. In most places you go, you are not too terribly far from a Walmart. The main thing is, as long as we don't forget a kid, we're doing good. So, and I don't think we're gonna do that. So don't overstress your packing, and you also don't realize how many things you need on a daily basis until you take a trip and you're like, wow, it takes that much just for me to get out the door? That's crazy. I used to pack a ton, and I would take way more than I ever needed, and I would have all these outfits and then shoes for each outfit and accessories, and it would take up so much room because I was so scared I was going to forget something. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that just your basic necessities, if you need more when you get there, you can always, like I said, go to Walmart and get it. But especially when you're traveling with kids, the lightest you can travel, the easiest. It just makes the whole trip much better. Also gonna do a little unpack clip when we get back. Like I said, we're staying at an Airbnb, thankfully, so they have a washer and dryer. I plan on doing laundry the night before we leave, so that when I come home, hopefully I won't have to do much, if any at all. Maybe our travel clothes, obviously, but other than that, I hope it to be very simple when we get back. And I have thoroughly cleaned my house. I'm gonna do another sweep before we go to make sure everything's picked up and all the trash is taken out. I have also cleaned out the fridge because I don't want to come home to any science projects. And I'm going to do a Kroger click list pickup for the day after we get back. So I don't have groceries sitting in the pantry or the fridge that can cause, that can spoil or anything like that. So when we get home, I also won't have to fool with going to the store because I'll be exhausted. I'll be able to just pull up and get my groceries and then head back. But I'll show you all those things when we get back. And so this is the packing portion. I hope that it helped. This was one of the beach days whenever we were down in Florida. We enjoyed it so much. The weather was perfect and the water was just right. I was afraid that the water was going to be kind of cold, being that it was earlier in the summer, but it actually wasn't. It was perfect and the kids had a blast. The water was pretty clear too, so that was also a plus, but we loved it and we had a ton of fun, and I'm going to show you in the coming clips some of the things that we did and that we saw. Every time we go to the beach, my husband always manages to, at some point, either dig some big hole, build something, or create something in the sand. Sometimes I think that he's doing it for himself more than he is the kids, but he loves it and he's really good at it. But everybody was kind of gathering around and watching him dig this big hole, and he was getting all invested in it and making his steps down in it, and then the kids got to play in it after he was done, so that was fun. He enjoyed that, and the kids did too. So we decided to go for a walk out on the pier before we went to eat one night, and honestly, I really didn't care at first to go out on the pier. I just don't usually see anything, but I was really glad that we did, because we ended up seeing sharks, as you see here, and dolphins. And I've honestly, as many times as I've been to the beach, I don't know that I've ever seen sharks out in the water, so that was really neat for me and the kids to see too. We usually see dolphins, but I've never really seen a shark, so that was cool. But it was kind of alarming though too, how close they were to the shore, and I was like, oh my goodness, we were just up there swimming, so that was kind of scary, but it was just cool to see the sharks and the dolphins, and the kids just absolutely loved it, so I'm glad we decided to go out on the pier. So this is the unpacking portion of the video, and I'll be honest, I'm the world's worst at unpacking. Like, when we get back from a trip, I will let my stuff stay in the suitcase forever until it's absolutely time that I have to pull it out, but I really hate unpacking. I don't mind packing that much, but I absolutely hate unpacking and having to put away. But it definitely helped that the Airbnb had a washer and dryer, so I didn't have to do as much laundry. Are back from the beach, and I kind of wanted to just show me unpacking the suitcases and how I do that. Like I said, we stayed at an Airbnb and there was a washer and dryer, so we were able to wash our clothes, thankfully, so I don't have to do a ton of laundry. That helps so much. I do have the things that we wore when we traveled. I have to wash that. But I wanted to share with y'all, I want to talk a little bit about the trip, but I also wanted to share with you something that or a couple things that I think I failed to mention in the beginning, probably because I was rushing and packing and getting ready to go. But if you have children, one thing that I do and I have done that I think really helps is I pack outfits. But if you'll have a full outfit together and have like the full outfit, everything that you need minus the shoes, you just roll it up and then stick it in your suitcase, and then each outfit can be rolled together. And then I think I had mentioned having like trash bags or Walmart sacks for in the car and extra clothes. So thankfully we did that. Honestly, I probably should have had some more bags and more clothes, but on the way back, our what would have been like maybe 7 hours of travel turned out to be a little over 12. Our youngest ended up getting sick on the way home, and we had to stop every 15 to 20 minutes because of that, and she was in a ton of pain. Like, it was horrible. She was like screaming and crying, and I felt so helpless for her. We stopped at gas stations, we stopped at restaurants, we kept stopping and stopping. Eventually, we ended up just pulling over and going to like a walk-in clinic. Thankfully, we were semi-prepared with the trash bags because she was getting sick in the car, but it wasn't fun. So always be as prepared as you can. I know with kids, it's very hard because they're unpredictable, but there's nothing more worse than being in a situation like that and having nothing and not being prepared at all. So next trip we take, we'll have probably a vomit bag and some medicine, anything that we think we might need, kind of just a little first aid kit right there nearby, and then some extra clothes. But yeah, she's much better now. As far as the trip, we ended up staying in Pensacola, and my daughter had a competition there. It was fun. Her team did so good, and I'm so proud of them. But we stayed at an Airbnb. It was our first experience with the Airbnb, and I will say that the house was super nice. It was very clean and put together, and I enjoyed that. One thing that I didn't like was that on an Airbnb, this was our first time to do it, but you really kind of don't know the location until you book the room, and I'm not crazy about that. So the location ended up being kind of sketchy, and thankfully everything was okay. It was quiet, our street was fine, but it was about 30 minutes from the beach, which really wasn't that big of a deal. But when you don't know the area, you want to be safe, and so that was kind of a hard thing to come by. But when you stay in a condo or you stay in a hotel, like, you can easily look it up and you can see what's nearby as far as like restaurants and food and, you know, shopping and stores and things like that. I didn't like how Airbnb, you don't know much of anything until you get there, until you book it and you know the address. But all in all, the host was great. The house was very nice. It was clean. We did one thing that I knew, or I was told to do when you book Airbnb, is look for a super host, and this host was a super host, and so that was nice. But it was a good trip. We had a lot of fun. We just packed the whole beach bag, and when we went to the beach, and we stayed all day long because we were about 30 minutes away, and the kids did really good with that. We had canopies and umbrellas and things like that to kind of help with being out in the sun a lot. We ate like on the beach. My favorite restaurant that we ate at was called Crabs on the Beach, I think. I have to look back at that and make sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was called, Crabs on the Beach. It was so good. The food was so good. I got sushi, which in all my experience, you don't really eat sushi at the beach because generally it's not that great. But y'all, this sushi was so good at this restaurant. The appetizers were great. The kids' food was great. And it was right there on the water, so it was perfect. I loved that restaurant. But we had a lot of fun. It was a good trip, minus the travel back with the kid getting sick. But that's life. You know, you never know what's going to happen. But we're all good. We're all fine. Everybody is healthy and well now. But anyways, I just wanted to show y'all quickly kind of how I packed with kids, how we travel, things that we have done that works for us, to give y'all some tips. If you have any tips that I didn't share, please leave it in the comments for the other viewers and for me as well. And I'm going to keep making fun videos like this. I have some good organizing videos coming up, and then some fun summer projects that I have planned for my house. If you don't follow me on Instagram, check out my Instagram. It is at The House for Hosting. I share a lot in my stories, and I share a lot of kind of DIY projects and other things that I'm working on as well over there whenever I can't get the time to make a YouTube video. But I'm trying to juggle both, and it's a lot, but it's fun and I'm enjoying it, and I'm so grateful for this platform and the opportunity to do this. So I hope that y'all will subscribe and like, and then leave something in the comments and let me know if you have any special video requests. But until next time, bye guys.